Could you open up to the book of Romans chapter 6? We're going to look at 11 through 14. We are on our study in the book of Romans, and today we're going to start off on a very serious note. We're only going to be looking at 4 verses today. Only 4. But to these 4, I want you to listen very, very closely because I think they have the potential to change your life today, starting today. I would even say these 4 verses may be the most practically important verses you could learn to apply to your life in order to please God. Like, I think our objective is to make our God in heaven pleased with us, proud of us. And I think these 4 verses, if you understand them and ingest them and live them, you can do that with these 4 verses. They are full of treasure, but it's going to take some real contemplation. And I made that opening statement because my theme for this passage might seem just the opposite. I've titled this message, The Walking Dead. And you might say, oh, okay, so you want me to get serious about the book of Romans, but you're going to bring up some rotten show, The Walking Dead? Yes, but be assured, I'm not joking today. In fact, I'm deadly serious. And my choice of illustration today is for one purpose. It's to make sense of these 4 verses, to help you understand, and really me understand, because I'm kind of a simple guy, and I think simply. And I think this is the best way I can fully understand this. So, if you're ready for this, give me the thumbs up. That means you're going to listen. Thumbs up. Mark, thumbs up. All right, we're ready for this. Here we go, starting Romans 6, verse 11. Paul writes, "In the same way, count yourself dead to sin." But alive to God in Christ Jesus. Therefore, do not let sin reign in your mortal body so that you obey its evil desires. Do not offer any part of yourself to sin as an instrument of wickedness, but rather offer yourselves to God as those who have been brought from death to life. And offer every part of yourself to Him as an instrument of righteousness. For sin shall no longer be your master. No longer be your master. Because you are not under law, but you are under grace. This is 4 little verses, but man, are they heavy. Very, very heavy. So before we go into them, I'm going to start with a confession. I need to confess something. I've not always been the best father. I know many people think I have, but I haven't. I mean, I'm really good at doing the tough things. I can cook hamburgers on the grill very good, very well. I've perfected the spiral when I pass the football in the backyard with my sons. I'm good at that. I even can start a fire in the backyard fire pit like nobody else. Like, those are things I've mastered as a dad. However, I think there's one thing that I do that you would consider me not too good a father, not too stellar of a dad. I am fascinated by scary movies and monsters. And I sadly pass this fascination on to my kids, especially zombie movies. Yes, ooh. But hear me out, Jackie. Hear me out. Before you give me a failing grade, hear me out. I have used zombie movies to teach my kids how to analyze the complex doctrinal discourse of human anthropology, soteriology, and practice of sanctification. See? Do you understand what I just said there? You will. You will. I have found a good zombie movie has more insight into the human psyche than a scholarly journal article you can find in Duke Divinity School. It's that good, Jackie. It's that good. So follow along with me. Watch what I mean. If we do a behavioral study of the living dead, of a zombie, there's 3 things we know about zombies. Number 1, they're monsters. A monster is a twisted version of the original design, specifically when it comes to the human being. A zombie's twisted. That means it's less than what was originally intended, and it has a propensity towards doing things that are evil, wicked, not good. Second thing we can say about a zombie, it's always hungry. Hungry, it's always hungry. It's attracted to even the shockingly disgusting to satisfy its hunger. And it's that hunger that drives them to obsessive degrees where they will violate moral principles in order to get what they want to eat. Do you see the theology, Jackie? The third thing we can say about zombies is they are blind. Before we go to Rick, they are blind. They're blind. They only see what they hunger for. They are self-obsessed. It's sort of like everything is about them satisfying themselves. And in that self-obsession, they often lose others and caring for those around them. That's the problem with zombies. They have zero concern for others. And then when you compare them to the living, so here's Rick Grimes, he was the star of The Walking Dead. He was alive. In other words, he had the ability to see things zombies can't see. He's also repulsed by what the zombies crave. He considers it disgusting. And he's able to resist perverted things that the zombies cannot resist. Another thing about an alive person is they are others-centered. He lived his life to take care of the vulnerable, those in his family, the weak. He even had a baby that his main goal, he would sacrifice himself, sacrifice his strength to help the weak become strong. That's actually the best definition of love I've ever heard. Love is sacrificing strength for the weakness of the one you love. So now that you know and understand zombies, you use that knowledge, and then you can better identify actual spiritual zombies around you. Because according to Romans 5:12, the passage that we studied 2 weeks ago, we were all born in Adam. And Adam is where we get our zombie nature. It's not what we were originally intended to be. In fact, we are dead in our trespasses and sins. We're monstrosities in Adam. Meaning, even though we bear the image of God, we don't want holiness, though we should. We crave things. We're hungry for things that disgust God and actually ruin us. And we're blindly driven towards pleasing self, passions, and wanting to be better than others. Why do we always want to be better than others? It's Adam in us. It's the zombie life. What I've also learned from zombie movies, it's a very important part of zombie movies, is the only way to stop a zombie is you have to kill the zombie, to get it a headshot. It's the only thing that stops the biting. It's the only thing that stops the spread of the disease. And in a like manner, Adam in us needs to die. And that brings us right to verse 11. Look at verse 11. Look how it reads. This isn't just a nice verse to remember. It's meant to be practical. In the same way, count yourself dead to sin, but alive to God in Christ Jesus. This verse is theologically rich. In fact, this single verse, verse 11, has summed up everything Trevor taught us last week and then helps us apply everything Trevor taught us last week. Theologians call this vicarious living, the vicarious atonement of Jesus Christ. It's a big word, but here's what it means. It means when I have faith in Jesus, when I apply faith, I actually died on the cross with Jesus. I joined him in his death. And because I believe by faith, I have been unified with him in his life. It's a real unity. Greek linguists call this phrase indicative. Look at verse 11. In the same way, it says, count yourselves dead to sin, but alive to God. That phrase, in Christ Jesus, is in an indicative mood, meaning It's ontological truth. It's according to God, reality right now for those who believe in Jesus. It's true truth. And because of this, there should follow an imperative, which is the very beginning of verse 11. Look at the very beginning. In the same way, count yourselves dead. Theologians or old-timer theologians used to call this reckon yourself. Reckon yourself dead. Reckon is an old-fashioned word which means count, consider. Realize this is true, and that's an imperative. That means it is a command. Or you could say it like this: Paul wants us to take our death seriously. He's not joking around. Indicatives always have imperatives. So, for instance, if I'm a parent and I have a little kid, I say, Johnny, look, the stove will burn you. See how it's red hot? That red hot stove, that's an indicative reality. That's a reality. And because of that, I tell Johnny, don't touch the stove. Don't touch that red hot. The indicative gives me an imperative, a command that says don't do it. So I'm a Jaws lover. I love the movie Jaws. See, I told you I like scary movies. I admitted that flat out. That's my fault. However, Jaws fans know every body of water probably has a great white shark in it that will eat you. An ocean, the Grand River, a pool in the backyard. You never know. You never know when that great white shark will eat you. And if that's an indicative truth for a Jaws lover, which brings the imperative, don't ever go swimming. Because if you go swimming, you may die. And so because of that, see, I don't go swimming, so I haven't died yet. See how true that is? That's just a silly example. How it's an indicative brings an imperative. When you say you believe in Jesus, you've died with Him on the cross. So act like it. That's the point. That's the point. So, you must daily consider yourself dead to the sin that used to devour you. You're dead to it, to that sin that would trip you up. You're dead to it. Don't let it control you. Let me kind of make it more practical. There is a verse, I call it the reckoning verse. Go to Galatians 2:20. This is the verse I believe God has, out of His graciousness, given us to memorize so we can have it in our heart. So when sin comes to tempt me, I can use this verse to kill myself or kill the zombie inside of me. But you have to learn how to use it. I'm going to show you how to use it. This has helped me in so many situations. It's that good. So Paul says this. In verse 20, he begins with the word I. I is my old self, my zombie self, the Adam in me. I have been crucified with Christ. That is a reality. That is a vicarious truth. Jesus on the cross 2,000 years ago was hanging with me. I was hanging with Him. I have been crucified with Christ. And then he says, now Christ lives in me. This also is a truth. And this is a new life. It's a new kind of life. It's not my old life. It's Christ's life in me. A lot of people call it the resurrection life. A lot of people call it grace. This is grace. It's brand new. I've never lived this way before. It's my new self. Regeneration. I live now, even though I'm dead, I'm still walking around. I live now by faith. I don't live by my passions, I live by faith. Faith takes this book and steps as if it's true. I walk in its promises. That's what it means to live by faith. It's going to be hard to live by faith. And so what Paul continues to write is, I've been crucified with Christ, nevertheless I live, not I, but Christ lives in me. In this life I live in the flesh, I live by faith in the Son of God, but it's hard. Yeah, but He loves me. Even though it's hard, I know it's the best thing for me. Why do I know it's the best thing for me? Because He loves me. That phrase, He loves me, means He wants my best. So therefore, it's the best thing for me. And then the last question is, how do I know He loved me? I don't see Him. I don't necessarily feel Him every day. How do I know He loved me? Well, it ends, verse 20 says, He gave Himself for me. He died for me. So when I look at the cross, it's solid proof of His love. And because He loves me, I know if I walk in the promises, it's the best thing for me. But I want to stop a second. I want to focus on the first original I. Let's focus on that I. What does that mean? So when it comes to the old me and Adam, this is, I'm going to talk about the person who needs to die. This is the identity you have fought your whole life to promote. It is the one you have wanted to publicly present to the world as being the most unique human that ever lived. You're better and special than others, and you are going to prove it. That's the Adam in you. It's the identity that you think will give you satisfaction. It's the identity that you think will give you the status you so crave, the recognition you so deserve. That's the zombie that needs to die. And the way you can tell what that identity is, it follows a phrase. It follows this phrase. I am the best at, and what follows after that usually is the identity that needs to die. Well, I am the best at sports. I am the best Tiger fan that's ever lived. Are you really? And who cares? Seriously, who cares? I can remember when I first was saved. I was listening to a radio show and it said, you need to fast on things that consume you. And sports consume me. And they said, when you go on a fast, write down the things, start doing godly things, write down the things you have been doing in replacement of the things that were consumed. And for me, I was consumed by sports. So I started reading for the first time. I started walking and praying like I couldn't believe it. Before, I was consumed by sports, so if the Cleveland Browns lost, I would be depressed. What was wrong with me? And then I started realizing, at the time Bernie Kosar was the quarterback, Bernie Kosar probably doesn't even know who Chris Weeks is. Did you ever realize that? Guys on your favorite sports team don't even know you. Why do you care so much about them? Die! Be better than that. I am the best at work. Nobody works like me. Really? Nobody frames houses and pipes fits. Nobody. Really? My dad would always say this. He'd say, there ain't a horse that can't be rode, and there ain't a man who can't be thrown. There's always somebody better than you. And who cares? Why are you working? To be better or to take care of those you love? That's why you work. I am the best at my looks. I'm the prettiest. I'm the best dresser. I'm the fittest. I'm the most sexually alluring. That's what advertising wants you to be. I am the coolest guy. I have the best mustache. I have the thinnest waist. I have the biggest muscles. I take the best selfies. Why do girls take selfies with their tongues out like this? Click. Do you ever realize it looks so stupid? What are you doing? I looked it up and I text on Google, why do girls put their tongues out when they take selfies? And it said they want to be playful and sexually attractive. That's weird. But we're weird. We're weird. I am the best at having the most interesting life. There is no one like me. Yeah, yes, there is. I am the best at mothering. I am the best at cleaning my house. Who cares? Seriously, who cares? Yeah, but I have to have my house clean. So people are at your house, but you would rather sweep and vacuum than talk to them. I'm the best cook. Are you? What's the point of food? To be the best or just to eat? I am the best churchgoer you have ever seen because I never swear. You know what? Jesus could care less. I am the best at winning arguments, and I always have to have the last word. Why? I am the best at being a nonconformist, of living alone and surviving alone. I can do it myself. Why are you proud of that? Why are you proud of being a hermit? I am the best at being marginalized and being a victim, and nobody's ever been a victim like me. Nobody's been as abused and hurt like me. I am the best at being the worst. We're the best at getting sympathy and pity. Look at me. I'm the best martyr who ever walked this earth. No, you aren't. You never really died on a cross. You really want to talk about abuse? I am the best revolutionary. I am the best sexual trendsetter. That's weird. I am the best at being the life of the party. I am the best. Here it is. I'm the best American who listens to country music, chases chicks in bikinis, and has the beer commercial life. Who doesn't? We need to die. Seriously, who are we on this earth for? The old I, the image we work so hard to keep up, that I need to keep up, is dead, hanging on the cross. It's indicative truth. God buried the unrelenting, striving, hungry zombie in the ground. Stop letting him pull himself back up and living again. Give him a headshot, the good axe. Like, oh, that's gross. Exactly. It is gross. Stop letting him live. My old self. I'm ashamed to say this. My old self, I wanted to be Tom Cruise. I really did. Every movie that came up, I would want to emulate. I wanted to be Top Gun. I wanted to join the Air Force. And then he was Cocktail, and I became a bartender. And I knew that stupid song in bars, you never close your eyes anymore. He needs to die. Chris, kill that guy. That's embarrassing. And you have an identity you need to kill. That's embarrassing. So let's talk about practicing this death. How do we do it? How do we do it? This verse will help you, but there's steps he gives us. 3 steps, and we find them in verses 12 through 14. Step 1, no longer identify with your old sin. Don't let it control you. Don't let it possess you. Don't let it manipulate you. Look at verse 12. Therefore, do not, that's an imperative, let sin reign. Reign means be king. Put you in slavery. Don't let sin reign in your mortal body. That means this body that God gave you, so that you obey it. It's evil. It's zombie stuff. In fact, we died to sin. We don't have to listen to it anymore. We just don't. I like to look at it like this. Since dead people are dead, they no longer can fail their old masters. All an old master could do is threaten you with death. But if you're already dead, he can't threaten you with anything. You got to think through that. It's very deep and profound. But we do things because we let him talk to us. But I can't hear him anymore. I'm dead. Sin's dead. How did sin once rule over you? There's 3 ways sin used to rule over you according to 1 John chapter 2. One is lust of the eyes. I want that. I got to have that. Everyone has that. And if I don't have it, I am going to fall. I'm going to be behind everybody. I'm not going to be as cool as everybody. I'm not going to be the prettiest or the richest. I need to have that. But Chris, you died. You don't need it. You're dead. Pride of life. You got to be better. You got to have a bigger paycheck. You have to have a nicer house. You have to have a better job. You got to present a better argument. You have to have all your dreams come true on this life. But you're dead. Who cares? That's a hard one. Especially when I'm with my old friends. I compare myself to my old friends. They got houses like you haven't seen. I don't. Who cares? You're dead. And then you got the lust of the flesh. Want to feel good. Want to feel comfortable. You deserve a vacation. You deserve time off. But really the best word to sum up the lust of the flesh is a 3-letter word, F-U-N. Fun. Fun. It's funny, when you read the Gospels, it never says Jesus had fun. I'm not talking about joy. I'm not talking about pleasure. I'm talking about fun. Fun is just fun. I have to have fun. Why? You're dead. I have to do my bucket list. Why? You're not on earth to do a bucket list. Because I deserve it. You deserve it? You're dead. You're a dead man. This is so hard. This is so hard. I deal with it. So the first thing is don't be identified by your sin. Second thing is this. Be thrilled you get to represent Christ. Be thrilled about it. Look at verse 13. Listen how it reads. It reads like this. Do not offer any part of yourself to sin as an instrument of wickedness. Don't be a zombie and eating brains anymore. Yuck. Stop it. Why? Because you can offer yourselves to God as those who have been brought from death to I'm living now, and offer every part of yourself to Him as an instrument of righteousness. God, I get to live for you. What do you want me to do today? Here's one of our problems in Christianity. We're moralists, which means we think Christianity is about stopping the old man. So when I stop the old man, I'm really proud of myself. So we'll say stuff like, I've been sober for 3 years. Which means I haven't been a dead man for 3 years. Great. I haven't looked at porn for 3 years. Tremendous. Great, great, great. That's not why we're on earth, just to not do things. We are on earth to display Jesus in our body. That's incredible. Galatians 1:15 and 16. God has set me apart by birth because He was pleased to reveal His Son in me. Man, now that will change your life. If all you're trying to do is stop doing things, it gets exhausting. That's not why you're created, is to stop doing things. You're created to be Jesus. It's a profound thing. This happens in 3 ways. Number one, the way you can tell Jesus is alive in your life, you're disgusted by your old way of living. It's just, you don't want to do it anymore. I'm alive. I don't need to do that. I don't need to eat brains anymore. That's gross. I don't need to stay out all night getting drunk like the other idiots. They're all zombies. I don't need to go out with my girlfriends and drink wine and try to be sexually alluring to the opposite sex. That's gross. You know what's really weird is, yes, guys should be reprimanded for looking at women as objects, but why is it okay for women to go out and act like objects? Just a question. That's zombie life. I no longer want to hold grudges that form me in a cold, crusty, cantankerous, lonely old man like the other dry bones at the coffee shop. Did you ever go in an old coffee shop and there's these old men tables and all they do is go, Did you ever watch zombies walk? Why don't you be alive? You don't need to complain about everything. Be alive. Second thing is you'll start constructing new convictions. I can't hang out with those friends. I can't watch that show. I can't consider the popular sexually fluid lifestyle as valid. You draw a line in the sand, and you know you cannot cross that line because you know it's on the other side of the line. Zombies are crawling out of the grave. I I'm not going over there. I'm not going over there anymore. And then you prepare yourself for the onslaught of the zombie apocalypse. When you reckon, that means war. When you say, I'm going to start reckoning, you are going to enter a war zone of zombies that have to die. And the way you do this is 1 Peter chapter 4. It's the greatest verse. I've given this verse to a lot of guys to really help them with their porn issues, and there's been victories. Done this with people who have gnawing sins. And if you apply 1 Peter 4, it can change your life. But you got to fight. If you're passive, the zombie will bite you. Take the axe, 1 Peter 4, and hit him in the head. You're like, that's gross. Again, I know. It's got to be a fight. Look what it says, 1 Peter 4:1. Therefore, since Christ suffered in his body, he went to war with sin in his body. Okay, so Jesus went to war. The cross was war. It was offensive battle against sin. Jesus entered it. Since he suffered in his body, arm yourselves. See that word arm? It's a military term for get some weapons. Get ready to fight. Get ready to fight. Arm yourselves also with the same attitude, because whoever suffers in his body is, guess what? This is an incredible verse. I don't know if people believe this. Done with sin. What? Yeah, you can be done. You can literally have victory. Here's how you do it. You develop a strategy sheet. It's a war sheet. First question you ask, and this is just you and yourself. And you got to say, what sin has me? What sin has a hold of me? Is it lust? Is it anger? Is it jealousy? Is it bitterness? Then you say, when does this sin have the most power over me? When? What time of the day? What am I doing? You know, maybe it might be a housewife at 10 in the morning with these kids are driving you crazy, and you think of, I could have a great life. Write down when this happens to you. Then you say this, how can you prepare yourself when you're most vulnerable? How can you prepare yourself for that time? Maybe during that time at 10 o'clock, I need to start memorizing verses at that time. Or I need to call some friends that we'll just chat for a half hour when I'm at my lowest. I need to go to the gym if I'm a guy and I've got this pent-up lust. I got to burn it out of me, and I'm going to go to the gym at this time. I can't watch that show at this time. You got to do your battle plan, or else you're going to fail. The zombie just sneaks in the back door. Creak, and he comes in and bites you in the neck. And then the fourth thing is then train yourself to do this and have hope that it is possible to be done with sin. That's the promise. There's hope. You're not relegated to be a failure your whole life. That's the strategy sheet. So step 3, now walk in freedom. You're free. Look at what verse 14 says. It says, let me go back to Romans 6:14. For sin shall no longer. It's over. Be your master. Means you're set free. Because you're not under the law anymore. You're under grace. What is grace? It's God's actual power living in you to transform you. And it doesn't happen because you're a good, obedient person, because you're moral. I've stopped doing these things. It's because you believe by faith that God is going to work in you and motivate you to be disgusted, to love His will. Grace is a real power. All the law can do is condemn you. It attacks your old self and says, you're a failure. You failure. God's going to condemn you. And did you realize you're dead? Who cares? There's an old story This farmer's driving in his pickup truck with his daughter. There's no air conditioning, so they roll down the windows and they go through this kind of like a field, and a big yellow jacket bee comes in. And the daughter goes, "Dad, I'm allergic. Dad." So the dad grabs the bee. "Dad, don't worry, daughter. The bee won't hurt you." "But Dad, I'm allergic." "Look in my hand. He stung me. All the bee can do now is buzz." Look at the hand of Christ. He died for sin and death. He died to the law. All the devil can do is buzz. Don't listen to him. You're dead. You're free. So be free. Be free. I have a quick day slide. There's one problem with our old self, our old zombie. This is what I've found to be true. It's not in Scripture, but I just know this to be true. The old zombie is very sensitive to the voices of people. Other people can raise the zombie. There's two groups of people that will raise your old zombie if you don't let that zombie die, if you don't give that zombie a headshot. The first group is your cool old friends. They will say stuff like, "Why are you so fanatical to Jesus? Why do you take this stuff so serious? Relax. Do you remember how much fun we had being zombies and eating brains? Come on, let's do it again." Man, are they powerful. If you listen to them, that zombie gets right up and starts walking again. There's another group of voices that you got to also really be careful, because they dress and they look good, but they're zombies on the inside. It's legalistic Christians. Legalistic Christians are very dangerous. They'll say stuff like, "You're not meeting our expectation. You're not coming to our event. Why aren't you doing this? Why aren't you doing that? You need to do this. You need to do that. You need to do this." You got to kill that voice too, because that will cause the zombie to be tired out. Do you know there's only one voice that matters? Only one voice. Only one voice. Jesus said in John 5:44. I actually have it on my phone, in the back of my phone, because I need to know this. It says this: "How can you believe, since you accept glory from one another, but you don't seek the glory that comes only from God?" That's all you really need to listen to is God and His joy. Did you know He's pleased with you right now? If you believe in Jesus, you're dead on the cross, and you rose again, so you're not condemned anymore. His voice is the only one that matters. God killed the zombie in you so the real person made in the image of Christ can live. And the more you learn how to reckon yourself as dead, the more Jesus comes alive in your life. Listen to Colossians 3:1-4. It's very clear. "Since then you've been raised with Christ, set your hearts on things above, where Christ is, seated at the right hand of God. Set your minds on things above, not on earthly things. For you died, and your life is now hidden with Christ in God. When Christ, who is your life, appears, then you will also appear with Him in glory." It's an incredible verse. So you could say this: reckoning is up to you. It's a personal habit. The war is fought in your mind and body alone. Nobody else does. It happens in the shadows when no one's watching. Reckoning happens at Tuesday at 10 o'clock at night. Reckoning happens at Wednesday at 10 in the morning. Reckoning happens at Saturday at 7 p.m. while you're home and you know all the other zombies are at the dead club dancing like zombies. "Oh, I want to go there." You're dead. You're dead. And the more you fight the zombie in the shadows, the more you grow in maturity. And the more you grow in maturity, the more God can trust you in the light. You can say it like this: when a hunter goes hunting, he always has a few arrows that he keeps on the ready. They're always sharp and straight. So when it's time to make the kill, he's prepared to make it. There's a big buck over there with 10 points. You pull out the arrow that's sharp and straight, Boom, right to the heart. Boom. God wants you to use you to kill zombies around you. And if he knows you have been sharpening your arrow in the shadows, he will use you to kill a horde of zombies in the light. If you catch my drift.